Hi, this is Rajesh of excitingip.com, and this is a screencast presentation of virtual private networks, which is also called as VPN. Now, what is a VPN and what are its major advantages? See, basically, a VPN is a secure way of connecting different branches of an organization. Now, what happened previously was they used to take lease lines and MPLS private circuits to connect the various branches, but the cost of such lease lines and MPLS circuits were pretty high when you consider a lot of branches across the world. So what people thought was, if there is a secure way of connecting different branches over the internet itself, which is basically a public network, then it would be great. And so that's how the concept of VPN was born. So VPN is nothing but establishing a private network in the public network, which is the internet. So it's something like the traffic from one site goes encrypted to the other side. So how many ever branches there are from the head office, all the data communications goes in an encrypted and secure tunnel, so that it actually becomes a virtual private network, true to its name actually. So if you look at some of the advantages of VPN, all the messages are encrypted. That's how it creates a tunnel for you. And VPNs are scalable. Thousands of users can connect to the head office simultaneously through the VPN. VPNs can be extended to any place which has basic access to internet via internet lease line, which is the best. Fixed broadband and mobile broadband technologies as well. VPNs are cost effective, yes, when compared to MPLS and lease lines. VPN helps to centralize all IT resources and lets people to access those resources from the centralized data center. So it allows for basically consolidation of IT resources. Remote traveling personnel can get access to their site, the central site resources whenever they want, wherever they are. Then VPN also allows for business continuity, as people can just start working from homes even on holiday, etc. VPNs allow for an external portal to be created for, say, partners or even employees, and they can start accessing the information that they want immediately from those portals. So VPNs are quite useful for doing a lot of things, including the ones which were just told just now. So what are the basic methods of creating or establishing a VPN? Primarily, there are three ways in which you can establish a VPN. So the first way is actually given here. Now, before going to the ways of creating VPN, let's just have a look around the diagram. So what we have here is, we have a head office. We have a head office connected through an internet lease line. We have a branch office, and branch office also connected through the internet lease line. This is the internet cloud. And we have a home office which uses a fixed broadband internet to connect to the internet. We also have a telecommuter or a traveling personnel who connects to the internet via any mobile broadband technology. So now coming back to the point of creating a VPN, all you need to create VPN is to have a router, head office location. You need a router in the branch office. You need perhaps a PC with VPN client in the home office, and with the traveling personnel. Now what happens is, a secure tunnel is found between this router and this router. So any communications from this office to this office goes via the VPN tunnel. That means all the traffic is basically encrypted, and routers do the encryption as well as the decryption here. Now for larger offices, you may also require a VPN concentrator, which is basically a dedicated appliance which does only VPN compression and decompression. So now the VPN tunnel is now extended from the VPN concentrator to the VPN concentrator at both the locations. Now for home offices, which access through broadband modem, the VPN is established from the VPN client on a PC. It's basically a software, to the router or VPN concentrator on the HO. So here you see the VPN connection. So for the telecommuters, of course, their laptop is preloaded with a VPN client, and they establish through the internet, they establish a secure tunnel. So this is how you basically form a VPN. So this there is another way of doing the same thing, but instead of using the routers, you just use the UTM appliances, where these days in the UTM appliances you can directly terminate your bandwidth and other connections. So you can also offload the VPN connectivity to UTM appliances, which has a certain number of fixed concurrent licenses inbuilt into them. So here you have a UTM appliance in the head office and another UTM appliance in the branch office. So with the two UTM devices, you can actually form a VPN network through the internet. So other procedures of home office and the traveling personnel remain the same, except that they communicate with the UTM device for forming the VPN tunnel than the routers. Now coming to the next another way of creating VPNs. Now if the company is very big, they might be having a wireless controller that is basically used for centralized management of all the access points in the enterprise. Wireless access points. So the VPN functionality can be provided by this controller also. So you have a bigger controller at the head office and a smaller controller in the branch, and a secure VPN tunnel is formed between these two. And for the home office, you have a remote access point, and the VPN is formed between the controller and the remote access point. So one advantage of this approach is that PCs can connect to the remote access point, and they may be using any operating systems. They just need to make a wireless connectivity with the remote access point. The VPN tunnel is established automatically through the fixed broadband internet. For the traveling personnel, of course, there is a VPN client which establishes the VPN tunnel through the internet. So these are the three popular ways of creating a VPN. So what are the types of VPN? There are two types of VPN. One is the IPsec VPN and the second is the SSL VPN. Now IPsec VPN uses the IPsec protocol and the IPsec standard to create a virtual private network. So the basic advantages of IPsec VPN is that it is trusted. It has been there for pretty long time. It is a client-based VPN, so people who want to call or rather make a VPN connection from remote locations need to have the VPN software preloaded. So people know that the endpoints trying to establish a VPN are secure. It is more useful for establishing a site-to-site VPN, and it's known for that actually, the IPsec VPN. And the IPsec VPN can give full access as well as control or block certain applications. It gives you some centralized authentication, centralized management options, also automatic failover options to another VPN device in case the primary VPN fails. And SSL TLS VPN is also one more way of forming VPN with its own standards. And the basic advantages of SSL VPN is that you can have a clientless access. That is, you can use a browser to do a secure encrypted communications back to your HO. So you can actually go to an internet kiosk, you can open the browser and you can start forming a VPN tunnel encrypted session back to the HO. There is also a client-based access because certain applications may not work on the browser. So our lightweight client is downloaded on the browser in order to give a more fuller access to all the applications. Now advantages of SSL VPN, of course, browser-based access, so you can access the SSL anywhere. It can help in host integrity checking, like it sees what operating system the computer connecting to it has, what version of antivirus has, and if required it can update it to the latest version. It is easier to deploy and maintain because if there are a lot of telecommuters, you can't it's difficult to install the VPN software in each and every device. It can provide granular network access controls, which means that you can deny or allow the VPN connection to access certain network resources and block certain network resources. It supports many type of endpoint devices. Most of the mobile phone PDAs have browsers which can do an encrypted session. That means it can support multiple methods of user authentication. It can help create extranets. It can they are designed for internet browsers. They don't have any NAT firewall traversal issues. They have exhaustive audit capabilities, which means that they store logs, and any point of time the administrator can see who has accessed what resource, when it was accessed, etc. And you can cluster different SSL VPNs together for performance, scalability and redundancy. SSL VPNs are better for disaster recovery and business continuity because it can allow for anytime anywhere access. So hope you found this presentation on VPN useful. Please do free to interact with us on the comment section with your feedback. Thank you so much.